Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, I like to talk about anxiety, specifically health anxiety, and I also talk about inner healing work. I give you guys a bunch of questions at the end of each video so that you can really get to the root cause of why it is that you're having your panic attacks, the root cause of why you have health anxiety. It'll help you learn what your triggers are, and it'll help you overcome them so that you can live a more relaxed, non-anxiety kind of life. So if this is something that may be of interest to you, if you would please consider liking, subscribing, sharing this maybe with a friend. It does help my little channel grow. And of course, I appreciate it. I love you all. And yeah, I have a fun question for you at the end of this video. Today's video is only going to have one question because I feel that this one question is so powerful that it pretty much changed my way of thinking, changed my life. So yeah, let's get right into today's video. So today I wanted to briefly just talk about how we feel when we're dealing with this health anxiety on a daily basis. There's a lot of people out there that deal with not only health anxiety. I did a video where I explained a little bit on how OCD, it kind of goes together with health anxiety. So with health anxiety, your fear is not just health anxiety and something that you may be going through, be it a disease. In my case, it was cardiophobia. It also, it trickles into agoraphobia because you're afraid of leaving your house. You're afraid something is going to happen. It trickles into driving anxiety because now you're afraid to drive. In my case, my first panic attack, I had it in a car. So for a very long time, I was afraid to drive by myself. I couldn't even go to the corner store by myself because I thought I was going to have a panic attack as I'm driving, or have a heart attack as I'm driving. No good. It can also lead to death anxiety. I know it sounds a little morbid, but when it comes to this health anxiety thing, there's so many things that it trickles into. And it can make you feel alone. It can make you feel depressed for some. It can make you feel not worthy. There's a video on that too. It can make you feel such a range of emotions that it slows you down and you feel like, what the hell, right? You feel like sometimes you can't get out of bed. You feel sometimes like, what is the purpose of all this? I don't get it. What's happening? All of those wonderful questions that we ask ourselves, right? Constant thinking, it leads into irrational thoughts that are constantly coming in. There's so many things I know that me personally have dealt with. And yes, I've dealt with agoraphobia. I've dealt with the driving anxiety, the cardiophobia. I've dealt with death anxiety, where you're afraid, you wake up every day and you think, for whatever reason, your brain just thinks today's the day. You can't explain it. Again, if you haven't been through it, this is something people aren't going to understand, and you're just going to sound like a complete nut job. You're not a nut job. So today I do have a question at the end of the video that I want to ask you guys, that I really want you to focus on. It made me see things so differently. It made me realize a lot, and it led to the beginning of my changes personally, to where now I haven't had a panic attack in at least over a year. The health anxiety is pretty much gone. Driving anxiety, I want to make a video for you guys with that one, because that one, there were some tips and tricks that I had to use, because you have to go to work, that actually helped me be able to drive by myself. But for me, the beginning of recovery for me, I received a book from someone, and I have it here. Okay, so this book is from John C. Parkin, and it is called Fuck It. Okay, you get to a point, I think, where you just say to yourself, fuck it, because what the heck. So without spoiling anything in this particular book, because he does mention it in the beginning, as I was reading this book, again, this guy right here. Wait, how do we focus this? Ah, there you go. All right. Something he says in this specific book is he was suffering from a disease. He was actually suffering from a disease. Like, it wasn't that he had health anxiety or anxiety, generalized anxiety. He didn't have any of that. He was actually sick. And he always kept telling himself, when I get better, I will do this. The reason this resonated so much was because when you do have anxiety, you say to yourself, you become, first you isolate. So you're isolating, you're not going out, you're not really talking to people, nobody understands you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You guys know what your personal experiences have been. And so often, I know for me, I would say to myself, when this anxiety goes away, I can go out for a walk. When this anxiety goes away, I can go on vacation. When this anxiety goes away, I'm going to be able to do A, B, and C. Well, you're always waiting. Aren't we always waiting? This guy one day said to himself, fuck it, right? He felt like, if I'm dying, right? Because I believe I've read this a while ago. So I believe he was diagnosed with something where it was going to be terminal. He eventually, he kept telling himself, when I beat this disease, I'll be able to do this. I'll be able to do that. And it's crazy because you could be waiting and waiting and waiting forever and ever and ever. And it's never going to come. And you're just watching your life freaking completely pass you by. Opportunities you didn't take because of fear, vacations you maybe didn't go on, concerts maybe that you wanted to see. There's so many things that we don't do because we're so afraid of the going outside or the cardiophobia, or you're going to have a heart attack, or, maybe it's a brain tumor, whatever it is for you. So in reading that, it's like a light bulb went off for me. Like, literally a light bulb went off for me, where he says, fuck it. How can I wait until I get better for me to live my life? If I'm going to die, then shouldn't I be living my life right now? The best that I can just right now. That hit a nerve. And for me, after reading that is when things started to change, and I started to do more things, go more places, because fuck it, right? If I'm gonna die today, because again, that's what your brain tells you, if I'm gonna die today, then at least today I did this, I went here, I experienced that. We don't want you, or I don't want you, and your friends and family sure don't want you, see your life pass you by and you're not doing anything. It's not a good feeling. So I recommend this one. And again, you guys know I have 26 subscribers. I love all of you. So this isn't sponsored in any way. This is just a book that was given to me. So this guy, how do I do this? Come on, focus. There we go. So Fuck It by this guy. Truly recommend this book. So with all that being said, the question that I want you guys to really sit with this week, a question that came to me a year later. So it's not like it's from this book specifically. The book is just watching or reading about someone who is actually going through something and them just getting this light bulb moment. And yet here I am. And it's not irrational to think when you have the health anxiety. It's not an irrational thought, and it's not like your thought doesn't matter. But when you put yourself in someone else's shoes, or you see what someone else is going through compared to what you're going through, you're just like, shit. If I'm having a panic attack, I could just go cry in a corner or I can do this or I can do that. Someone who's actually going through it, where they tell them, hey, you have 12 months to live. It just puts things into perspective. So I want you guys to sit with this question. Okay. What is the purpose of your suffering? Really sit down and think about, what is the purpose of this anxiety? What is the purpose of me going through all of these emotions that I'm going through? Like, not only are you watching your life pass you by, not only are you maybe pushing people away because they don't understand, or you're afraid to talk to someone because they might make fun of you. They might think, what is my favorite thing that people always tell me? Just think happy thoughts. Like, if it was that easy, none of us would be in this situation. But really sit down and think about, what is the purpose of your suffering? I'm going to be vulnerable here because that's what I'm trying to do with my channel right now. It took me a while to answer that. When I read that question, it really hit me like a ton of bricks, because this whole time, so I've been dealing with it, as you guys know, or living with it, since 2008. It is now 2024. Okay. For all those years, I thought I was going to die, because my thing was health anxiety. That's what I was dealing with. So all those years that went by, did I live my life? Of course. I have to go to work. I have bills to pay. You got a husband. Like, you got to live your life. You got to at least live as good as you can. But for all those years, there were so many opportunities I didn't take. There were vacations I didn't go on. There were concerts I didn't go to. There were dinner dates with friends that I was just like, because I was so afraid. And again, my brain said, you're dying today. Like, today's the day. I did that for all those years. And guess what? Thankfully, I'm still here, but nothing ever happened. What is the purpose then of your suffering? Why is your brain doing this to you? This is why inner healing is so important. You have to get to the root cause of what is causing you to get triggered, what is causing you to feel this way, what happened. For me, like I explained in a different video, I saw my grandmother pass away, and just something was like, holy shit. Okay. After I got my first panic attack, I started looking at life so differently. I started thinking so hard, like way too much. And we're overthinkers. If you have anxiety, you're absolutely an overthinker. There's nothing wrong with that. But you do have to get to the root cause. That's why these questions are so, so important. So yeah, I want you guys to sit with that question this week. What is the purpose of your suffering? And see what you come up with, and be very honest with yourself. Like I always tell you, with your answer, you don't have to share it with anybody. You can share it with somebody if you feel comfortable. And for you, I wish that you do have that aha moment and you figure out, what is the purpose of my suffering, right? Because what is the purpose of my suffering? I know I sound insane, but aren't we all just a little mad in here? Okay. So yeah, as always, I want to thank you guys for sticking around. Again, if this was helpful to you in any way, please consider liking and subscribing and the bell and sharing with, someone you may know that can benefit from the video. It is a little sloppy. I apologize. There's any clips today. So I want to go ahead and check the clips out, but I know I haven't uploaded as frequently as I wanted to. And I just want to keep putting content out there. I did speak to someone who, even though I haven't done that many videos, it is helping them out. And that makes me feel absolutely amazing, simply because if only one person gets anything from this, it really does mean a lot to me. So thanks again for stopping by. I wish you guys the best week, day, night, whenever you're watching this. And wear your glasses for the eclipse if you're watching this today. And yeah, stay tuned for the next video. The next video I do want to give you guys, it will be regarding driving anxiety. Whew, that was a tough one for me to get over, let me tell you. But I do want to take that video in the car because I want to show you the tips and the tricks that I was able to use to be able to drive hours now by myself, hour away from home, 15 minutes away from home, whatever the case may be. So thanks again, you guys, for stopping by. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you to my new subscribers that hit that little subscribe button to help me grow and spread this message. So yeah, till next time, everybody.